Let me get this straight. I spent the night in jail because Meech gave me a stolen car. But I'm in trouble for having sex?
Meech don't live here, you do.
You getting real high and mighty, mama. Them fancy new church robes is getting to your head, ain't it? I'm an adult. And I don't need your permission to drive or have sex. And besides, when you were my age, you were on what, baby number 1 or 2? You can't tell me shit!
Go upstairs, Nicole!
Yeah, you better go upstairs, because I'm about to kill your ass!
Hey, listen.
Since you got your degree, and you know every fucking thing.
Ouch. Right in the heart with a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on man. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the lab. I feel a cold stab.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw that clip. This is, losing. Let me see, losing respect for your parents. So this is a clip from BMF. Quick story. The 2 brothers are drug dealers. She's the youngest. And basically, they're making a lot of money, but also their life is basically messing up her life. And the parents get into it because the dad didn't really want to be involved with that. And the mom was taking the money. So, and the dad started, helping out the son every now and then. But the daughter was always giving all these rules, don't do this, don't do that. And she's like, my brothers are drug dealers, but because of them being drug dealers, like in the show, she had a boyfriend and the boyfriend got killed in front of her, basically as a message to them, which is, I'll say it this way. It's a real life thing where if you're in the streets, it affects your family. But what keeps happening is the daughter, as she becomes a young adult, she getting on the mama head. And I've seen this before because I've seen kids lose respect for their parents. And sometimes it's hypocrisy. Your parent might say something like, look, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did, or I don't want you to do what I did. And then it's like, but your mistakes put us where we at right now. And because your mistakes put us where we at right now, if I'm doing what you're doing, basically I'm gonna end up right here too, and you're mad about that. Fine. But why are you continuing to make these same mistakes though? I don't understand that. That I don't understand. If you say these are the mistakes and now you 18, 20, 25 years older than me and you're still doing it, what we talking about? Case in point, I had moments when I was younger. I caught my parents in lies. Parents were doing drugs in front of me, well, one of them. And just doing, silly stuff. And it'd be like, I can't respect that. Because I knew those vices and those selfish ways basically affected the family, no matter who did it. But then I saw people who lost respect for their parents for nothing. Because I say it's like 50-50. Like I've seen people who lost respect for their parents for a legitimate reason. And I've seen people lose respect for their parents because, I don't like you because you don't have enough money, or I think you're losing. And 9 times out of 10, everybody isn't rich. But you as a child shouldn't let materialism make you disrespect your parents. And a lot of times when I've seen uh, young people do that full materialism, usually by the time they become an adult, their parents did better at life than them. You get what I'm saying? Because they was so worried about the material things, they wanted to they didn't have a real work ethic. But on the flip side, I've seen people lose respect for their parents because they don't have a work ethic. Um, some people were lazy, some people were depressed, um, and some people would lean on their kids. Like, you got to do this, you got to do. It's not and it wasn't in a. I'm teaching you how to be responsible way. It was in a. I'm not gonna take care of the necessities or do the bare minimum because I don't feel like it kind of way. And I've seen kids basically become the parent and the parent become the child. But the kid doesn't necessarily express it. It's like, I got to do this, that, and the third because they won't. And after a while, you lose respect. And I've seen it in a sense where, laziness. Um, you know how much somebody is doing for you as a child when you become an adult and you have to fend for yourself. And you know how much somebody isn't doing or wasn't doing for you as a child when you become an adult and you got to fend for yourself. And I've seen people become adults and and they were disrespectful to their parents prior to being out on their own. And then when they're out on their own, it's like, oh, I get it now. I was out of pocket. And I've seen people apologize and, mend that relationship. And I've seen the opposite where you realize, oh, you didn't care about me at all. You just kind of, shooed me along because it didn't take that much sacrifice to do this. It didn't take that much effort to do this. It didn't take that much planning or budgeting to do this. You just didn't want to. And then it becomes, all right, you know, we supposed to be family, but we ain't. And I've seen people, lose respect for their parents. It's like, you really wasn't a parent. And then, and I've seen the weird ones where you don't think your parent is cool enough and you want them to be the cool parent. So you lose respect for your parent because they're not cool to you. And it might take you some time to realize the cool parent in your mind is lame as hell. But you don't know that yet. And then I've seen people, you know, over time have more respect for their parent because it's like, oh, you wasn't gonna let me do all. No, oh, you got standards, you got boundaries, you got rules, and I ran from that because I wanted you to just be out of your mind. And then, sometimes it dawns on people like, do I want to be the cool parent as far as like letting kids just do too much because let's let them be free, or do I want to be a parent that goes, that's your kid doesn't, you ain't friends. That's what I'll say. Because you realize your parent ain't supposed to be your friend, and other people's parents ain't supposed to be your friend. They should have their own doggone friends. But I've seen people, lose respect because people wasn't cool enough, and I've seen people overly, it's nothing wrong with overly respect, but respect their parents to the utmost because it's like, oh, you was being a parent, you wasn't being a friend. Understand? Because sometimes when the kids wind up becoming a parent and they have kids, they don't want to be the cool parent, contrary to popular belief. Like then it's like, oh, I'm not gonna be the house where teenagers come drinking. I'm not gonna be the house where kids come and they want to have sex in my house. I'm not gonna be the house where kids out here doing drugs and they, as long as you're in the house, I ain't finna be that. Mm-mm. And then you lose, and sometimes these kids themselves, when they have even the fun parent, they lose respect for that parent because their child's like their child needs a parent, not a friend, and not a janky friend at that. The hypocrisy like that she brought up was religious. Also, you're a hypocrite religiously, But I'll say this and then I'll shut it down. I've seen people lose respect for their parents because the other parent told them to not respect the parent. And I've seen that flip flop. I've seen the one parent, the child go, I respect you and I don't like you. And then they grow a little bit old and they go, oh, what you did was not respectable. Can't respect you for that. Nah, it is what it is. Bye. I've seen both of those things. So that was an interesting clip. It did spark some things. So I'm done. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.